Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese set to renew their rivalry. Caitlin Clark's Whiteness coming into the equation. I don't think that it's fair to make Dave accountable for any sort of implied or perceived, inferred, I suppose, racism would be the correct word here, because Dave certainly never brought race into it. You got people throughout our society, a certain percentage, who are hung up on stuff like that. It should not drive the narrative for the other 90+% of us who just want to enjoy sports for sports.
And now, a man who just wants to fill the world with silly love songs. It's Ricky Cobb.
Oh yeah, and welcome, you sweet bastards. What's wrong with that? I'd like to know. Because here I go again. I'm Ricky Cobb, and this is The Ricky Cobb Show. And today's episode is Bill Belichick in love? We asked him, and we'll get to that in a few moments. But let's begin with the thing that is at the tip of everyone's tongue right now, the sports world. It's the Super Bowl in May, some are calling it. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese set to renew their rivalry tomorrow when the WNBA season kicks off in Indianapolis. The Chicago Sky and Angel Reese, the bad guys, are coming to town to take on Caitlin Clark, and Chapter 2 of the Caitlin Clark WNBA saga is ready to begin. And what would Caitlin Clark's saga be without Angel Reese? The Bill Lambier to Caitlin Clark's Michael Jordan, as I have said, and the conversation never gets very far about basketball in the WNBA without Caitlin Clark's Whiteness coming in to the equation. We are going to go to Dave Portnoy, speaking to Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay, and Dave kinda sorta takes some responsibility for that narrative. Let's listen to the
I
clip.
live for Caitlin Clark. I ignited, to a degree, I want to say, the race aspect of Angel Reese versus Caitlin. I will go to my grave. There was no race behind it. I watched the national championship. I bet on Iowa. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I thought what Angel Reese did at the game was classless. Nothing to do with the color of her skin. I tweeted that and became a race. He's only said, had nothing to do with that. I will stand forever. And I think the way they acted for a long time, where Caitlin didn't say a word and she's taking bullets like they are coming at, that's not a race issue to me. For whatever reason, with me, like, whoa, Gilly apologize for me. They're like, oh, we don't stand with Dave on that. Now, they told me they were going to do it.
Right.
But people, there's pressure outside. I will go to my grave. I'm never going to apologize for that because it wasn't malicious. I stand by it.
Right.
Who did inject the race element into it? Then I think it's fair for Dave to make a negative comment about any player, regardless of their race, if he perceives what that player has done to be negative. And what Angel Reese did, I think, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The taunting. Why not just go celebrate the championship? Who wins a championship at any level and is more concerned with taunting the players that they just beat than celebrating the championship? Can you name another off the top of your head? Whether we're talking about the Super Bowl, whether we're talking about the World Series, name the sport. Most players, when they win a championship, are besides themselves with joy celebrating their championship with their teammates and their coach or their manager, whatever, their family, their friends. The first reaction isn't to taunt the people that you just beat, and particularly Caitlin Clark. We all know that she was the subject who was on the receiving end of that gesture, the pointing at the ring finger that Angel Reese did. She villainized herself that day. I don't think that it's fair to make Dave accountable for any sort of implied or perceived, inferred, I suppose, racism would be the correct word here, because Dave certainly never brought race into it whatsoever. But it became a part of the story going forward. And yes, there are always going to be people in society who see things through the prism of race, unfortunately. You got people throughout our society, a certain percentage who are hung up on stuff like that. It should not drive the narrative for the other 90+% of us who just want to enjoy sports for sports and cheer for people who are awesome and boo people who aren't awesome. That is at the heart of the issue, not race. Angel Reese, go make a statement this season with your play. You've been working on your layups. Go out there, start making some layups this season. If you can make layups, you might average 20 points a game this year. There is room for improvement. If you focus as much on improving your game as you're focused on the sideshow element of this, maybe you could get a little closer in ability to Caitlin Clark, and that would make the rivalry that much more compelling. Because Bill Laimbeer, the reason I say that you're Bill Laimbeer is because Bill Laimbeer was nowhere in Michael Jordan's stratosphere in terms of talent, but he still positioned himself as one of his arch rivals. That's where you are now, Angel. Work on the game, start showing me the ability to put the ball in the bucket, and then maybe we'll have a rivalry on the court that is at least somewhat as interesting as the off-the-court distractions that we've all gotten so used to. Speaking of laying bricks, our friend Stephen A. Smith, as we discussed on the program yesterday, plays a character, a recurring character on General Hospital who goes by the name of Brick. And Stephen A. is throwing up a different kind of brick with a take that he had about Cooper Flagg. I saw this and I was trying to understand where Stephen A. is coming from. Stephen A. somehow making Cooper Flagg being the number 1 overall pick for the Dallas Mavericks a racial matter. And rather than me describing it for you, let's listen to Stephen A. and then we'll break it down.
Cooper Flagg and then everybody else. When you got somebody with that kind of potential and they're white and you are in America, you keep that dude. You keep it. I'm telling you right now, with my black self, I'm the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. I ain't thinking about drafting somebody else. I'm not thinking about moving Cooper Flagg. I'm grabbing Cooper Flagg. He's the number 1 overall pick. I mean, just think about the marketing. Do you know I saw some commercial? I forgot whether it was a commercial, an endorsement deal, or whatever. Do you know he had the American flag behind him? Just think about that. Think about the marketability. I'm not talking about just keeping him because he's white. I'm saying the brother can play. He's a special talent. And then when you think about it, they just let go of Luka. So you can't let go. And let's call it what it is. Jerry Jones taught me this. This is what I learned from him. When I say this kind of stuff, I get this kind of stuff from Jerry Jones. When I say, we're talking about Texas. That's Jerry Jones right there. That's what Jerry Jones reminded me. This is Texas. It's a little bit different.
What exactly are you saying, Brick? It sounds like to me you're saying that Texas is full of a lot of hillbillies and cowboys and white folks that want to see a nice white boy come down to Dallas and play ball. It's what we'd like to see down here in white old Texas, where we got a bunch of racists that like to watch basketball and we prefer to see that white boy put the ball in the hoop. That's what it sounds like that you're saying. Whether that's how you mean it or not, that's certainly how you can take it if you read between the lines a little bit. And I don't even think I'm having to squint too hard to read between those lines, Stephen A. How about the simple fact that Cooper Flagg is the number 1 player on the board? He's 18 years old. He doesn't even turn 19 for, God, I think 6 months or something. He is a baby. He is the Naismith National Player of the Year. He was the most hyped guy out of high school. He went to Duke and he did exactly what everybody thought he was capable of. He went to Duke. He led them to the Final Four. How they lost that game in the Final Four to Houston, I still haven't figured out. But he is the number 1 player on the board, whether he was black, whether he was white, whether he was Chinese, whatever persuasion you want to give him, he is the number one pick on the board, and you should take that talent package. Why Stephen A. wants to add this element to it and then somehow say, well, Texas is a little different. Well, how is Texas a little different? Texas is like everywhere else. Their fans want to have the best players on their team that they can possibly have. And they're pissed that Luka got traded to the Lakers for pennies on the dollar because they lost an incredible first-team All-NBA talent, not they lost a white boy. They lost the best player that they've had since Dirk, a guy who arguably could go on and have a career that is as good or better than Dirk's. And that's what happened. They lost the franchise. I don't think anybody's tears in Dallas had a damn thing to do with the color of Luka's skin. And the excitement over Cooper Flagg is over the impact that he can have on the court and how he can change the trajectory of this franchise. And Dallas would be fools to trade the number one pick. And they're not going to. They are going to stick with it and they're going to draft that guy. But I would argue that everybody would be as excited to get him, regardless of if the kid is white or not. Now, look, I'm not blind. I understand that there is a marketability element to this. There is some truth in what Stephen A. is saying around the fringes. But I would argue that it's only around the fringes. It's not the heart of the matter. But yeah, we haven't had a great, historically great white American male basketball player in a long time. Chris Mullin, John Stockton, we got to go back to guys who were on the original Dream Team. I've said it before. I think the best white American male basketball player of this century, this millennium, in fact, has probably been Kevin Love. And no disrespect to Kevin Love, who probably will end up in the Hall of Fame at some point, and who had a very outstanding NBA career. Kevin Love is not somebody that any of us is going to rank among the immortals of the game. So is there a certain novelty factor, in a sense, that there is the best white guy entering the NBA since, let's say, Chris Mullin and John Stockton, if not Larry Bird? Yeah, it plays into it a little bit, but I don't think we need to make that the story, because I don't think it is the story. Now, I can joke about these things, which I have before. Speaking of Larry Bird, sometimes Larry Bird would just haul off and punch shitty white players for perpetuating stereotypes. That's Mark Ivaroni, by the way. Some of you might remember Mark Ivaroni. He used to start for the Philadelphia 76ers, play about 10 minutes a game. They bring Bobby Jones off the bench. I always used to get the box scores in the paper in the morning and look, and it would be like Ivaroni, 1 of 2, 2 points. And they just started him for some reason. He was a fucking stiff, this guy. If you enjoy this kind of content, Larry Bird hauling off and punching motherfuckers, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's the kind of thing that we do here on this program. We veer between insightful analysis and losing sight of our goddamn minds half the time with the irreverent fun that we like to have on this program. We hope that you enjoy it. Bill Belichick certainly hoping that people enjoyed his appearance this morning, just this morning, mere hours ago. The coach sitting down on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan, and his first major media appearance since the CBS Sunday morning debacle, where we all saw Jordan Hudson acting like an over-controlling handler rather than a girlfriend. Maybe she can be both. But this was Bill's chance to get in front of the American public with a lot of eyeballs on him and reset the narrative on what's going on in his life right now, promote his book. Let's listen to what Coach Belichick had to say to Michael Strahan.
A lot has been made about your relationship with Jordan Hudson. It's been getting a lot of attention. She isn't here this morning, but what do you think about all the attention that your relationship has been getting?
Yeah, well, she's been terrific, through the whole process, and she's been very helpful to me. She does the business things that don't relate to North Carolina that come up in my life, so I can concentrate on football, and that's really what I want to do. I acknowledged her in the book. She was very helpful on that with the tribute pages, and also giving a perspective of the book from kind of a business side. Sometimes I get a little football technical, and so she did a good job of keeping me on balance there.
So what did Jordan mean to you?
Well, we have a good personal relationship, and I'm not talking about personal relationships, Michael. You know that.
Okay, I know that, Coach. But I'm saying, are you happy?
Yeah.
You look happy.
Yeah.
I thought I'd see you doing yoga. Only happy people do yoga, Coach. Only happy people do yoga.
Only happy people do yoga. I don't know if that's true or not, but Bill is pretty tight-lipped on the matter about his relationship with Jordan Hudson, as we have come to expect. OutKick on the scene this morning in New York City to get some words from Bill Belichick, asking the money question here: are you in love?
Bill. Is your girlfriend here? Why is your girlfriend not here today? Are you in love? Appreciate it, guys.
Bill just not taking the bait on that one at all. Let me welcome in now to the program. He is, of course, the international streaming star joining us from Nashville, Tennessee, Ronnie T-Shirts. Ronnie, here's the question that occurred to me this morning as I was reflecting and thinking about today's show topics, and I haven't heard anybody really say much about this, Ron, but could you imagine if he knocks her up?
I hope so. Oh my God.
How much would we all flip out if Belichick has a baby with this woman?
Fingers crossed, dude. Like that.
Oh my God.
Everybody in media. Yeah.
Oh, absolute fingers crossed. But I mean, that almost has to be her play, right? Like she's going to have to let one slip by the goalie, like on purpose, because that just solidifies everything for her. Oh,
is that what she wants?
Well,
I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
She at this right now, there's no contract there, right? He can cut her off at any time he wants. But
as far as we know, maybe there is.
Ooh,
dude, who knows with these two?
Are you thinking sugar daddy? Are you thinking like a sugar daddy situation?
I'm just saying we don't know.
Well, listen,
I have no reason to believe that there is, but I can't.
There's $10 million in question, Ricky. There's a report of $10 million that's out there that somehow maybe she's in control of his cash. That all that real estate stuff. Yeah.
Well, if he puts a
baby, LLCs.
Yeah, if he puts a baby in her, then she's set forever. So, just saying, Ricky.
Listen, his daughter-in-laws are really worried. There's a bunch of reports out there that they are really concerned about, without saying it, Ricky, what you just asked, and also the nature of their relationship. That they're ready to honestly cry foul. The Barkley thing, intervention, like there's some real concerns within the inner circle of Belichick that something may go awry there, or as Ronnie said, one may get past the goalie.
Yeah, I wonder what the family really thinks.
So this is actually an interesting question, Ricky. This is an interesting situation because just try to put yourself in this situation. All of a sudden, your mom, you find out, is dating a 28-year-old guy. Are you just going to be like, well, God, my mom's happy. Like, you're not going to just let it go, right? I'm in the same boat. My mom, all of a sudden, my mom just turned 79. If my mom, I'm just trying to do the math, that would be like a 30-year-old if we're doing the same equivalent to Jordan. Like, you don't think that I would have some questions and I would be concerned if my mom was dating a 29-year-old? So his family has every right in the world. I mean, that's what families are for, man. Families and friends are you need families and friends to say, hey, what are you doing here? So yeah, but the horrible person that I am sometimes, I absolutely want him to get her pregnant. I think that would be fantastic.
How long do you give them? You know, we've all had a friend who was in a relationship and then the relationship is not going well. I know that you've had that friend before, Ron, for a fact. But
I mean,
you look at
I'm
it and
having
you
a hard
think to
time
yourself,
placing it, but
how long can this go on? How long do you give it? I've even seen those kinds of conversations come up shortly after weddings, if not at wedding receptions. How long do you give them? How long do you think they'll make it? Set the over under for me. And I want Tim, I want you to think about it too. We're in what? May of 2025. I don't know how long they have been, quote unquote, a couple. How much longer do you give it from here going forward?
His third loss on the
season. How long do you think they'll last?
His third loss at UNC is what I got.
So if Bill, so here's what I think, Ricky. I think the only way this relationship ends is if Bill ends it. That's the only way this thing ends. So I don't know. I mean, I think at some point he's going to get tired of her because there's just I don't know how somebody with a 50-year difference, if they were like the same age and it was just this purely sexual relationship where they both had the same drive and stamina and ability to go just all day like rabbits, I could see how this could last. But he can't. He's 73 years old, dude. I don't care what kind of pills, what kind of pumps. It doesn't matter. You meant
if they were both 24. I thought you meant like if she was 73 and horny. That's where I was struggling for a second.
No.
There. I thought you meant look,
sometimes
if they were both highly sexual 73-year-olds and they were just fucking all the time, I think they'd have a shot because they remember some of the same things. They've got a shared reference point from their generation. It could be sustainable.
No. I was saying that if they were on equal footing sexually, where they were both hormones coursing through their body, and it was a sexually charged relationship where they couldn't keep their hands off of each other, then you could see that okay, maybe this has some legs for a while, but he cannot keep up with her.
Belichick is in bed.
Oh,
can you imagine how bad he probably is?
I know how bad I am, and he's 15 years. He's 15 years older than me.
Next question.
Just unfasten up.
On to Cincinnati. On to Cincinnati. On to Cincinnati.
I'm not here to. Yeah, I mean it's just. You could just take your index finger and your thumb.
Oh Lord! Don't.
It gives new meaning, Ricky, to that good old. Can you give me a little? How long has this been going on? That's the old Ace, the old English band Ace, 74. Yeah. Multiple meanings for Belichick Ace. There. Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. How does this affect Scotty Scheffler? And now in the world of bad segues, what does this have to do with Scotty Scheffler, you might ask? Not a goddamn thing, would be
Muddy
my
balls.
answer to you. Yeah. You ever have muddy balls, Ron? How do you handle it when your balls get muddy?
I use a water pick. It's kind of like a little mini pressure washer.
Yeah. Well, that'll do the trick. I don't know what activities one engages in to get muddy balls, but one, apparently, oh dear. That one just popped out there. There you go. You ever use the old ball washer, Ron?
I have washed my balls.
They still have those?
Yeah.
Nowadays?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do. Yeah. I played golf. I played in a charity golf event last year, and I washed my balls out on the course.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's always
love
good
the
to have
original.
balls.
Love the original.
Scotty Scheffler, one of the players complaining about the fact that the rainy weather in North Carolina, they did not play under lift, clean, and place rules, Ron. Are you familiar that sometimes when the weather is bad, if your ball is muddy, the players are allowed to essentially mark their ball, even though they're not on the green, clean the ball off, get a chunk of mud off of it, whatever, and then place it back down and
That seems like common sense.
play under those rules.
Yeah, that seems like
well,
common
Scotty
sense.
Scheffler would agree with you. He caught a mud ball yesterday, ended up making a double bogey. The issue being that when there's a chunk of mud on the ball, even if you're the best in the world, it's hard to control where that ball goes, making it more about luck than skill. And if you're the most skilled or one of the two most skilled golfers in the world, depending upon where you want to rank Rory McIlroy at this point, that's something that you might very well take issue with. Let's listen to Scotty discussing muddy balls.
In American golf, it's significantly different. When you have overseeded fairways that aren't sand-capped, there's going to be a lot of mud on the ball, and that's just part of it. And when you think about the purest test of golf, I don't personally think that hitting the ball in the middle of the fairway you should get punished for. And on a golf course as good of conditioned as this one is, this is probably a situation in which it would be the least likely difference in playing it up, because most of the lies you get out here are all really good.
So, unhappy about that. Look, I agree with him, but I grew up playing courses that were horribly manicured. Shout out Caveland Country Club in Rowletts, Kentucky, where basically you were just playing in somebody's front yard. We had no fairway. So the way that we would play, muddy or not, is we allowed ourselves to roll the ball, meaning that we weren't playing the ball down, which is the true rules of golf. The real rules of golf, you go to your ball, you play it where it lies. But I played on courses that were such terrible conditions as a kid that we would, roll the ball because you could hit it right down the middle of the fairway, and just because they didn't know how to maintain the course, you could end up with a lie that was as bad as if you were in the rough. Professionals are not used to such things. And a lot of folks, not just Scotty, a lot of other players complaining as well. I believe Xander Schauffele, the defending PGA champion, also carded a double bogey after catching a mud ball yesterday, Ronnie.
Is that a PGA championship rule, or is it a rule all the time it's in the PGA? I'm not familiar with it.
It depends on whether they put it in place or not. It could be at any tournament. Lift clean in place.
I don't understand why you wouldn't. I just don't understand why you wouldn't say, yeah, clean your balls. That just seems bizarre to me.
PSA, the more you know. The rainbow goes through the sky. Ronnie t-shirts, clean your balls. Here's one for you, Ron, NFL related. We talked about it on the show a bit yesterday, but I think it is worthy of a little more exploration. Adam Schefter says that he wants the draft lottery in the NFL, saying that it would be, quote unquote, a home run. Do you think it's necessary? I will say, I'm a fan of the draft lottery for the NBA when we're not freezing the ticket or whatever, the envelope. Right. I don't know what they did, but I'm looking at you, NBA. Cooper Flagg, it's very fucking convenient. Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone, is what I'm saying on this one, Ron. But apart from my suspicions about how that whole thing went down, I am a fan of the draft lottery in concept. I don't think that the NBA benefits from a race to the bottom where, we live in an era now where it's hard enough to get guys out there to play anywhere near 82 games, even if they're on a fucking contender. The culture of the league has gone so far to hell in terms of guys sitting out and all of this stuff. So, teams that suck are going to absolutely have no inhibitions when it comes to trying to have the worst record in the league if that was going to reward them. So I think the draft lottery is a no-brainer in the NBA. But have you seen anything in the NFL that has ever led you to think, God damn it, we need a draft lottery to prevent that from happening? I can't really say that I have, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't think Schefter's wrong in what he said. I don't think that the draft lottery is necessary in the NFL, but if they did have it, it would absolutely be a home run. So, I think both things can be true. It's not necessary, but it would be pretty riveting, wouldn't it?
I don't think there should ever be a scenario where teams decide that it's better for them to lose than to win. I understand teams are going to rebuild. I understand teams are not going to actively be pursuing a championship every season because of wherever they are in their roster construction cycle. But I don't think, even if you're going out there and you know that you've only got a team that has, maybe 25 or 30 win ability, if you're an NBA team, I still think you should go out there and try to win those 25 to 30 games. Try to win 35 if you can. The incentive should be to try to do the best you can with what you have. And so for that reason, if the draft lottery came into the NFL, I don't think that it's a 5-alarm fire by any means in the NFL. But if that's something that they implemented, I would have a hard time being against it, Ron, because I don't see any downside, and there is potentially upside to it.
Yeah. Hey, isn't there a way? Tell me if I'm doing my math wrong here. If I'm wrong, if they just stopped the weighted ball scenario with the NBA and just said, if you don't make the playoffs, we're just going to put everybody's name in a hat, and we're going to pull one out, and whoever that is, that's it, and we'll just pull it out that way. So if you're not waiting, how many opportunities you get, then aren't we in a situation where you're less likely to tank?
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be...
Why wouldn't they just do that?
That would be an interesting lottery. You're just saying if you miss the playoffs, everybody goes into the same bucket.
Yeah, one name in the hat, and you pull it out of the hat.
Miss the playoffs by a game, and you got the same chance as the team that had the worst record.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about...
I mean, it is weighted now.
Unweighted.
That's an interesting thought. I've never heard anybody suggest that before.
Right.
And I don't know. I'd have to think about it, to give you an honest answer on how I feel about that. But you know what really works? I mean, here's where you and Ryan, soccer bros, have something.
I love
right?
relegation. I love relegation.
Relegation. Let's just fucking relegate you. I guarantee you nobody would have a problem playing to win if they knew that they were going to drop out of the fucking league for a year.
Yep.
If they didn't win enough games. That'll incentivize you real quick.
Could you imagine two crappy teams at the end of the year? Like they're playing a game and the loser gets relegated. Like how great would that be?
That's more compelling than a lot of playoff games.
Absolutely.
Right there. That's a lot to have at stake. Take a look at this. I thought that this was AI at first, fellas.
It's not AI?
I had to go and double check. This is a real movie, Ron. Yeah, you thought it was AI also?
Oh, the picture doesn't look real at all.
Yeah, well, it is. Christian Bale is Al Davis, and Nicolas Cage is John Madden in the John Madden biopic. Take a look at that. Look at those sweet bastards.
Dude, if you didn't tell me that was Nicolas Cage, in a million years, I don't think I would have said, oh, that looks like Nicolas Cage.
How about it?
Wow.
Nicolas Cage is John Madden. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Gosh, no.
But I'm in, man. And look at Bale as Al Davis. Just win, baby. And there's another picture of Nicolas Cage that's out there where you're like, Nicolas Cage, like, how do you make him look like John Madden? And he must be wearing some sort of like fat suit.
Yeah.
Or something. Cause I don't
think his face looks full though. Look how full his face looks.
Well, they can do amazing things with makeup and, stuff nowadays. Ronnie.
Can we get the Fox people to make me look thinner?
I'll put in a request with Gary.
This is one of the movies, man. I would
see what he can do.
I would hate to be either one of these guys, right? This is a movie where you really better have it down, right? Like, I mean, Al Davis is such
the only thing in my mind. Does anybody want to guess what I'm thinking? Ron, you might be able to get this. You know what my thought is about this movie?
No.
I got a question.
Hold on. Let's think here. It's not about a tire. It's not about It's got to be about some twisted relationship with somebody along the way. No?
Who's playing Ken
Who's going to
Stabler?
play Ken Stabler?
Oh,
there
yes,
you go. Ronnie got it. There you go.
I got it at the buzzer.
Yeah. Who's going to play Ken Stabler?
I got it at the buzzer. Sweet.
This is important.
That's your
They better
boy.
get
Good
that
job,
right.
Ron. That's your boy. Yeah, that's your boy.
You got to nail the casting of Ken Stabler. Look, we're off. We look like we're off to a good start here with Cage and Bale. They're two of the finer actors of our era. So I'm comfortable with that. But if they fuck up Ken Stabler,
now you have
ruin
me
the whole
thinking
thing
though.
for me.
Alzado, Bolitnikov, Tatum, Matuzak. Who's playing all these guys?
Well, I'm saying.
Throw your hat in the
Ron,
ring for one of them,
Got
Ron.
to get it right. Who's going to be Otis Sistrunk?
Oh, from
My
the
God.
University of?
Oh, yeah.
From the University of?
Mars.
Yes.
God damn it.
Well done.
Yes, in fact. If you like what you saw on today's show, head over to outkick.com/newsletters and sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. We're going to have great stuff coming to you every 2 weeks via email. It's absolutely free, and you can stay on top of everything that we're doing on the program.